Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Overshare Hour. How are you doing today, Juby?
I'm doing really good today, actually. I've had a super crazy weekend. I'm going to get into it in my overshare moment. I'm just going to vent because yesterday was really hard. But
Mm,
today I tried to do something nice for myself. So I went to a coffee shop and I worked on my book, and it was a good day. So the vibes are a lot better
yay.
today than yesterday.
Yay. How is the book coming along?
It's going good. It's hard to know
Yeah,
where to start,
that's what I
and
was thinking.
also
Yeah.
just trying to figure out the tone, the tone of the book and all of those sorts of things. But I'm trying to focus on just getting the words out there, and then I can always go back. And this is just the first draft. That's the biggest thing that I've heard from authors. They're like, the worst thing you can do is try to be perfect when you are writing the first draft of your book. So I'm trying to focus on that and just hit my word count goal every day.
Yay. What is your word count goal?
650 words. So not
Okay,
bad. Yeah. The
cool.
goal is to have my first draft done by my birthday. So
Yay.
yeah,
How
it's doable.
exciting. Yeah, it is. Good. Good, good, good.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay. We didn't have a very restful weekend. The weekend was like kind of busy. And so, you know how that is. I'm like looking forward to the week, like, wait, I didn't get to rest, but that's okay. I will rest eventually.
Well, we
Hold
had a
on.
Halloween party for
Yeah, we
everybody
did.
who didn't see. I did post
Hmm.
like a couple of videos, but we had a little Halloween party here. Bran was so excited about it. So you guys and the girls came over, and it was so much fun. It was
We
a
did
really
have a
great
lot of
time.
fun. Yeah, we did. My youngest was terrified of Bran.
Guys, Brandon decided that he was going to dress up as Slender Man, which it wasn't technically Slender Man, it was Shadow Man because he got it
Oh.
for Spirit Halloween, and you're not allowed to say the official name of it, right? And when he told me he was going to dress up as this, I was like, oh my gosh, please don't, because I just don't like that character. And not to get too heavy, I'm like, I probably shouldn't go down this road. But basically, there's a true crime story that has to do with the Slender Man, like people doing something evil because Slender Man told them to. And I am such a true crime person that I've actually heard this story on like 5 different podcasts at this point. So I was like, do not bring the Slender Man into my house.
No, not the energy of the Slender Man.
I know, but he just wanted to be something creepy. He really wanted to do spooky kind of stuff. So, yeah, your daughter was so freaked out
Yeah,
by
she actually
his
cried.
costume.
I was like, "It's Brandon in there." And she's like, "I know, I don't know why I'm so scared."
Luckily, there was a bit of a redemptive moment because she decided that she wanted to wear it later on in the night. So, thankfully, it turned out really funny, and she was
Yes.
super happy and not scared anymore once she put
Yeah.
it on.
Once she put it on, she was like, "Okay." Then she loved it and she was trying to scare everybody.
Uh-huh, she had a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we had a
Yeah.
busy weekend, but it's funny because the first submission, I wish we had gotten this before Halloween. So sorry that we are a little late, but this is a Halloween submission and thought we absolutely need to do this one. So, do you want to
Yes.
read it, Kens?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So this first one says, "Hey, Overshare Hour. Every year, someone dumps the entire bowl of candy on my porch into their bag within the first 20 minutes. I decided to get a little petty slash funny this year and set up a silly take one or be cursed sign along with a motion activated witch decoration to surprise whoever tries to take it all. My mom came over and lost her mind about it. She said that I shouldn't joke about demonic things like that, and I'm actually cursing the people who take the candy. I think it's harmless fun, but she sees it as me further going off the deep end. Am I wrong to think it's funny? Should I put it away to make her happy?"
Oh my gosh, this one had me cracking up because I think that, especially in the charismatic circle, there is such a weight on our words. Like, they really think that
Yes.
whatever you say, you are speaking it into the universe, and everything is very light or dark. Demons are very real, and
Yeah.
you can accidentally summon them. I often heard that if you watch horror movies, you are inviting those spirits to live inside your house and
Yep.
stuff like that. So I was cracking up at your mom being so upset about the take one or be cursed. Gosh, I don't really No, I think it's harmless and I think it's funny. I see it for what it is of you're just trying to make light and also stop people from taking all of the candy.
Yeah, rude.
But I could see people being upset for sure
Yeah.
in the church. So I don't know, Ken's, what do you think she should do?
No, I
Well,
don't think you should put
Halloween's
it.
already passed, but
Yeah, so, like, I guess next year, if you do this again, yeah, no, I don't think you should have to take it down for your mom. I would say do whatever brings you most peace. I feel like that's my constant baseline advice for everything is whatever brings you peace. So if it's really causing, like, a lot of tension between you and your mom about this sign, which is so ridiculous if you think about it, but so real. I remember we got some other Halloween, submissions that we weren't able to do this episode, but, like, just the fact that we I feel like Christians took Halloween and tried to, like, rebrand it for, like, Bible Day for trunk or treat, you know what I mean? Like, you dress up as, like, the what did I dress up as? Like, I feel like I would an angel or, like, you go to church and you do Halloween and all yeah.
is
Did you
that
ever
a
do that?
thing?
Yeah,
No.
yes. At Harvest.
I heard of trunk or treats. This was a little after my time, and I knew that some churches participated in it, but I didn't realize that you were dressing up in
No, you
Christian-y
dress up
kind of
as I was
outfits.
just talking to Luca about this because I was like, "How many Christian, like, Bible outfits can you dress up as?" Like, everyone there's gonna be multiple Jesuses, multiple
Moses.
Marys, and then there's, like, one guy who's like, "I'm going as Judas." Like, there's always, like it's all the
Oh
Bible
my god.
characters. Yeah, so, anyway, it makes me laugh because I think it's a completely harmless. I think that obviously no one is actually thinking they're gonna be cursed. I think it's funny and like a play on the Halloween spirit, but I love Halloween. I'm a huge Halloween gal. I love a good dress up, and so I don't know. I think it's harmless, but I do know a lot of people who take it very, very seriously.
No, they think
Did you?
Halloween is so bad.
Yeah, but we didn't really grow up like that. Like our parents didn't really keep us from like dressing up or doing anything like that.
No, I dressed up and I always was just told it's your heart that matters. That's what I was told in my family. So we didn't view Halloween as something bad. I would say that we probably wouldn't, similar to the horror story thing that I was saying before, there was like levels of not wanting to bring darkness into the home, but we didn't think that that would
Yeah.
happen through Halloween. It has been interesting to just hear from people how much their church pushed like anti Halloween. And also, I forgot, this is what I was going to say is that have you heard of hell houses?
Yeah. But I don't know what they are. I think I have. What are they?
Oh my gosh. So, hell houses are where they will create these sort of haunted houses, but it's supposed to be hell. So, they will
Yes.
actually play screaming as if people are burning in hell, and you'll walk into this room and it's like fire, and they'll have other creepy things in it. And churches will do this around Halloween. Instead of doing a haunted house, they'll be like, now let's walk through hell. Who wants to get saved?
Yes.
And I remember seeing a girl on TikTok. I would love to have her on Healdish at some point if I can track her down. But she said that her church like kidnapped the youth and put them in a car and then like took them to the hell house. And it was actually like a very scary experience.
Oh my
And she
god.
just remembers hearing screaming and feeling like people were burning in hell for Halloween because that's way
Wait.
less creepy than dressing up as, I don't know, a sailor
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, talk about they're like, "We don't want to invite any we want don't want to invite any darkness into our lives, but here, let's go to hell and see what that will be like for you if you
Yes.
celebrate Halloween."
So don't burn in hell, which little crossover. Wanted to tell you guys, I'm having Brian Recker. Do you know him
Me?
on Healdish? Yeah.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So he's coming on Healdish this week and he's going to talk about hell and how it's not
Yeah.
biblical. And I'm so excited because so many people are scared of hell, me for the first 30 years of my life. So it is a refreshing episode to talk about, I don't know, just like the fear tactic of hell and how prevalent
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But those hell houses are crazy.
I think it's interesting how Christians label everything demonic. Secular music, demonic. Halloween,
Mhm.
demonic. Like, it's all demonic. Like, I feel like that goes even further into just, like, culture. It's n like, I have family members that we trick or treated with. And they'll dress up like ghouls and goblins, and, like, my cousin did her costume that was actually terrifying, and she, like, made it up, but she called it, like, your worst nightmare, and she did, like, this crazy face, and she looked very, very scary. You couldn't even tell who she was. But then we passed by this house as we're walking back to her house at the end of the night, and apparently this woman who lives in this home only comes out on Halloween night, and she, like, sets up this little booth and, like, does tarot readings and, like, her little whatever, right? And they were like, there was a line of families, right, up to her door to get candy and a tarot card read pulled for them, I guess. And my family was judging her so hardcore because he's like, "Oh, this weirdo, she never leaves her house. She's doing demonic stuff with the kids." And I was just like, she's she first of all, she probably leaves her house. You don't know that she doesn't leave her house just because you only see her on Halloween. And also, like, it's Halloween. She's just, like, celebrating, and it's all scary and demonic. It can't just be, like, for fun. I don't know. I just think that, like, you should just let yourself have fun every once in a while. It doesn't have to be that serious.
No, I hear that. Yeah, I think that your mom writer is taking this a little too seriously. I think it's obvious that that is just a joke to try to get people to not steal all the candy. Oh my gosh. And I also wanted to say, I don't know if this came across your For You page, but there was this woman who adults came to her door and took the entire bowl of candy and stole it. And then not only that, they stole her children's pumpkins off of the
What?
front porch. Yeah, so she ended up her Ring doorbell ended up catching all this, so she posted it,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Okay, you can keep the candy, but please bring back my pumpkins." She's, like, yelling back, like, "Those are my kids, what are you doing? Bring back the pumpkins," and these are adults that came and got it, and
Why?
what's just so weird, and what is so crazy is that you could see the van that they were driving, and it's for, I think, like, a tree trimming business or something like that. So the business was on the car. So now that business is getting review bombed so bad from
Shut
TikTokers. Yeah, it's like instant karma. People are destroying their business online because they're like, how stupid could you be to do something like that in your work vehicle? you
That
know?
is crazy.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh. That's wild.
So I'm like, do what you got to
Wow.
do to get people to not steal all the candy. I hear ya.
Yeah. That's funny. Alright, are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, I could really use your advice on something that I've been having mixed emotions about for months. I'm 27 and have dealt with chronic illnesses most of my life. I was diagnosed with chronic pain as a kid and more recently found out that I have a connective tissue disorder and a few autoimmune conditions that finally explain the symptoms that I've been having for nearly 20 years. Because of all of this, I've experienced a lot of medical trauma and I struggle with fear and anxiety when it comes to managing my health. My doctors recently decided that I need another surgery. It will be my seventh operation on my legs alone. The hard part is that I still live with my parents, who are and manipulative, and they would be my caretakers after the surgery. I don't really have anybody else to help, and that makes me terrified to go through this again. I do meet with a therapist online, but lately I've been feeling really triggered and scared about what's ahead. On top of it all, I'm in my master's program trying to finish my degree. Do you have any advice on how to get through this or how to manage the fear and anticipation anxiety that's been weighing on me? Thank you so much for reading and for all you do.
Oh my god. I have no idea what I would do in this situation because obviously they're in a situation where they can't move out on their own. They have to have the surgery and their caregivers are abusive. I would love to know what the therapist is saying about this, to be honest,
Yeah.
because obviously our first thing to say would we would say typically is definitely get a therapist if you can. If they're abusive and manipulative, it's probably hard to have a discussion about how you feel with them or what you need, like let them know what you need. So we're gonna have to brainstorm here, but I'm gonna give like what I feel is best case scenario advice, and then maybe GB, you and I can like brainstorm about ways that they can do this if that's not feasible.
Yeah.
So, best case scenario for me is you know what you need in the terms of being cared for after surgery. You've had enough of them done that it's nothing new to you. You know exactly how it's going to go. in terms of like how they treat you once you get home, what those dynamics look like, what works
Yeah.
for you, what doesn't work for you. You've been through the ringer. So, in preparation for the surgery, I would be writing a list of boundaries and letters to my parents. That's what I would be doing. So, I would write the letters, I would write out the boundaries, things that, say, and I don't know how it's, wish I had more details because I don't know if the mom is maybe like oversteps boundaries or doesn't do enough to help and is guilt tripping her. Like, it's hard to know how to give advice when you don't know what the dynamics are. However, I would say you need to probably talk with them and let them know how you feel. Let them know about your anxiety. Let them know about, you know, that this is hard for you. And then you need to have boundaries like, this is what I need or this is what I don't need, and see if they'll be willing to respect that. I think what's hard with manipulative and abusive people, if they're narcissistic, is that they're not good at respecting boundaries and you're stuck in the household. So then it's more about, well, what kind of support do you have outside of the home? Do you have any friendships that you can rely on? Do you have any type of community um, that you can lean on? And if you don't, then what can you find? Can you ask your therapist for any sort of resources in terms of people with chronic illnesses that have support groups online or in person? Do you have some sort of Facebook group that you can rely on where you can tell people what's going on, and what kind of situation that you have at home, and see if there's anyone who's willing to chat with you during the day, let you vent to them, let you vent to the group, someone that you can just like put it outside of you and have those conversations outside of yourself so that you're not just sitting in this terrible situation. Because it sounds like hell. This would be my own personal hell. Having to be cared for by people who I don't feel safe with is terrible. That's terrible to have to go through that. So I would say if you do have a community, reach out to them and let them know how you feel. If you don't have one and you have some time, ask your therapist for some resources, tell them how you feel, how you're feeling about this, and then try to find some sort of support system, even if it's one online friend that you can text or call, preferably someone in your area that could check on you is what I would do. What would you do, Juby?
It's so hard, and I don't even know if my advice is good advice, I like what you said about if you have friends around you and who are in your city, maybe get them to come and check on you once a day. I
Mhm.
think that a lot of the times people are nicer if there are people in the home, like your parents might be nicer to you if strangers are there, because they may not be as comfortable treating you a bad way. I understand that oftentimes it's not so easy for our friends to be our full-time caretakers because they have a job or they have other things that they have going on. So that's kind of why it's on your parents right now to help, but maybe they could at least come for an hour or two a day to kind of help buffer and just keep you afloat during that time. When I had my breast reduction, I did join a Facebook group for breast reductions because I didn't know what to expect. So I do know that there are support groups on Facebook for people who are going through certain things. So I know that there are some for chronic illnesses. I was a part of a few when I had fibromyalgia. So even if you just have those resources to just talk to people and to vent, I feel like that would be helpful. And it's really hard because it doesn't, I wish we could just say, well, just leave and just,
Mhm.
try to flee the situation and try to find something else. But I think it can be unrealistic to act like it's just that easy to find
Yeah.
another place to live or people to take care of you, despite the fact that obviously that's what you want. You want to feel safe from the people who are taking care of you. So in this situation, and I don't know if it's great advice, but in this situation, what I would try to focus on is the fact that you said that you've had 7 surgeries on your legs alone. I would try to tell myself that I've gotten through every surgery in the past, and my parents,
Mhm.
despite them probably being emotionally abusive or whatever kind of abusive they are, I've gotten through that. And I've
Yeah.
lived through it, and I can do it again, despite the fact how hard that is. And I would focus on trying to finish your master's, trying to keep
Mhm.
the eye on the prize of getting freedom from this situation, and just reminding yourself that this is not your forever, and try your hardest to not get discouraged. because you are not always going to be in this dynamic. These people are not always going to have this level of access to you. And unfortunately, you're in a very hard position right now where you do have to rely on them for this surgery. But I would also, for me, one thing that helped when I had fibromyalgia is I found this mantra in this book. It was called Self Compassion. It is a great book written by Kristen Neff. And she said that a really good mantra to have when you are suffering and going through moments like this that just feel unbearable is this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. There are many people suffering in this world along with me. May I be kind to myself in this moment. And
Mm,
I just would repeat those four things over and over when I had fibromyalgia to remind myself that unfortunately, this is a part of the human experience. I am not alone. No matter how isolated I feel, there are many people who are sharing this feeling, no matter how heavy it is. And all we can do is try to be kind to ourselves in these moments that feel very unbearable. I think that I would just really try to focus on your mental health, therapy, talking with your therapist, asking your therapist, what tools or tricks can I use to get through this week or 2 as I recover from the surgery
yeah,
to just get through it because unfortunately it's just such a hard situation to be put in and it feels like there's no direct answer on how to deal with it.
I know. That was really good advice. I think that's good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and we're here for you. Let us know how it goes once you've gotten your surgery. Write in and let us know how you're doing. We'd love to say hi and send you an email. So we
Yeah.
do read our emails, so please write us.
Yes. And another thing too is if anybody else has any advice, I would love for it to be a normal thing where if you guys hear a submission and you think you have really good advice, please comment on the Spotify video. We have comments there or on the YouTube. Or you can DM us and maybe we can try to find that person and send over the advice because we are not the only ones who have advice to give. And sometimes
Yeah.
on these harder ones, we would love some input on what you guys think. If you have any resources that you think could help the people who are writing in,
Yeah, that is great. Please don't hesitate. Send it
please,
in.
please.
Okay. All right, here is the next one. This one says, I graduated college recently after a 5-year undergrad degree where I was told there was a huge need for my profession in the field. Post college, it's been 16 months. I've been falling flat in my attempts at my first job. I've been ghosted, rejected, ignored, and replaced over and over, and at this point, I'm angry. I've been working a position in the same field, but a job you don't even need a degree for. I feel like a failure. It's been so hard to maintain the passion I once had when I feel like the whole profession is rejecting me. What do you think?
That is so real. I think that this is a really common problem that is happening right
Mm,
now where people are spending so much money to get their college degrees and then it feels like it's impossible to get a job that actually has to
yep.
do with your degrees. So, what I will say and I know it doesn't help, but what I will say is at least one bright side is that you are working in the field. I know you're not working in the job that requires a degree. So it does feel like, what's even the point? Why did I even do this? But at least you are working in that field. So I do believe that that experience and having that on your resume is going to help you as you find other work. But yeah, it can be really hard to feel like I put all of this effort in and I thought that there were going to be so many opportunities. And there's this guy on TikTok. I love him. He's kind of controversial. I don't know why people are so mad at him. I think, okay, his name is Bradley on a Budget. And some people
Uh-huh.
don't like him because he, like, okay, so this guy has a bunch of financial trauma. His parents were kind of hoarders and they really struggled with money growing up. And he ended up going and getting a culinary degree, or he went to this culinary school and it was so expensive. He got in $100,000 worth of debt when he was 19. And they sold it to him that when you get out of here, you're going to make so much money. There's so many jobs out there for you. And after he graduated with this, he had all of this debt and wasn't able to find anything that paid more than like $12 an hour.
Oh my
And
God.
he ended up realizing he was totally sold a lie and that he was not able to make a livable wage at all. So one reason he's controversial is that that really scarred him, so he went so far the other way where he does the weirdest stuff to save money. All of his toilet paper is like paper towels that you get at Chick-fil-A, I mean, he just refuses to spend money on anything. He has a towel that is stapled together because he's had it for so long that it's falling apart, and that's just how he's been living, and now he has hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, so that's why people are like, "Go buy a towel, bro." You can afford a towel at this
Yeah.
point, but he's like, "You don't understand. I have so much financial trauma." He says, "I know I
Yeah.
messed up. Like, I know that I should be able to, like, go buy a towel, but to me, this one works fine, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't need that." And yeah, it's very interesting to see. I personally like him because he yells at you often. He's like, "Don't be stupid," you know? So he's like, if you're going and buying stupid things, stop being stupid. But he's like a finance guy. So this just took me back to that where he really thought that he was going to be able to get such a good job. And I think that so many programs do pitch that to students and tell them like it's going to be so easy, you're going to be making so much money, this is definitely going to be worth it. And then you get out and you realize, oh my gosh, this is not my reality. And then you oftentimes have people who didn't go to college making more. I was talking with a friend recently, and she said for her, she had had this resentment because her partner didn't go to college and was making a ton of money. And then she went to college. I think she got her master's and she was making less than her partner. And she said, "I know
Yep.
I should be happy that my partner is succeeding, but also I feel this
Agree.
resentment of, oh my gosh, I spent all this money in school and why is it so hard for me to find a job that pays me what I thought I was going to get paid when I signed up for this?" So I would just submit as many applications as humanly possible. Go on LinkedIn. I mean, just absolutely try to apply to anything, in my opinion, that's in your field to see if there's anything out there where you can use your degree. But I think just know that you are not alone because this
Mm-mm.
is something that is happening to so many people. And at least in the meantime, you are building your resume and you are showing that you're a good worker. You're consistently working with this one company, at least for now. And I think that that will serve you going forward, but I'm so sorry. I know it is very frustrating.
Yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than literally going to school for something that you care about and that you love and spending thousands and thousands of dollars and then not ever being able to get a job. I will say though, you said 16 months, which I know feels like 5 million years. Okay. Because you're applying every day, you're going to work in your field in a position that you don't appreciate or you don't respect or you don't think is, where you want to be, isn't where you want to be. And 16 months feels like a lifetime. However, it's not. And just because it's 16 months and you haven't found a position, I think that the anger and the frustration is completely valid. Like let yourself crash out, let yourself be pissed, let yourself be angry that you feel like you were sold a lie and that you may have been sold a lie. I mean, clearly you were sold some sort of a lie, right? Because it's not as high demand as they made it seem. But that doesn't mean that there won't be a position for you that opens up. And I think that Jubilee's right that if you think that you're going to stick with this field of work, stay in this profession, then working in the field, even if it's not the position that you want, like you currently are, is going to give you a leg up in the future. So stay where you're at. But I'm going to go out on a limb and give like some different advice. Okay. Just because you got a degree in a certain field does not mean that you have to do that the rest of your life. So, if as you are waiting, as you are applying, you learn that that thing that used to light you up kind of did dim and you fell out of love with it, maybe open your heart now and your mind now to the idea that there might be something else out there for you, not to jump ship yet, but just as a way to keep yourself hopeful and creative in your everyday life of thinking, what else could I do? What other things excite me? What could I become interested in? Because a lot of times you can get a job in a lot of things just because you have a degree. right? And it's
So
true
true.
that, yeah, it's true that some people don't have degrees and they make lots of money and it's like, wow, good for you. Couldn't be me. But it also is true that just because you have a degree in this doesn't mean you can't go and do this. A lot of jobs will be like bachelor's degree, right? Like, doesn't matter what it's in. We want you to have gone to college. So maybe start brainstorming, like write a list of, I know like at the top of your list might be the thing you went to school for, obviously, right? But start writing a list of other things that you could see yourself doing. Maybe you could see yourself doing it and say like definite yeses, maybe, right? And then go out and see what jobs are available now and maybe apply to them, maybe don't, but it might help you feel a little bit less discouraged. Or I think that the feeling that I would feel if I was in your position is desperate. Like I would start to feel panicked. I would start to feel like, well, when is this going to happen for me? So I think that I would follow that advice of looking for other things that might be interesting to me just so that I can feel like I don't have all of my eggs in this basket, which is crazy because we shouldn't have to feel like we have to go put eggs in other baskets. Like if you went to school for this thing, they told you were for sure going to get a job, like let yourself feel that disappointment and be super pissed off by that because it's infuriating. However,
Mhm.
don't put all your eggs in the basket. See what else you might be able to do and like to do just to give yourself some more options. And you never know. You never know what you might find that you could fall in love with that you end up looking back and being like, well, it's not in my field that I went to school for, but I wouldn't be able to get this job if I didn't have a degree. So I'm grateful for it anyway. You never know. So give
I
yourself time.
love that advice.
Yeah, and give yourself time because 16 months, right, Juby? It feels like a lifetime, but it could happen next month. Like, you never know. Just keep pushing.
No, definitely. I love that advice because it's so true. A lot of jobs you just need a degree just
Mhm,
to get in the door. So there's no harm in just looking and seeing what's out there. And maybe that there's something super fun, and
mhm.
different and something that you would have never thought. And you can be at that job until you finally do find a job in your field. So there's no harm in looking, but yeah, it's true. 16 months feels like forever, but like you said, it could happen next month. You could find something in a few
Yeah,
weeks. So just keep trying, keep sending out applications, send your resume, and yeah, let us know what you end up deciding to do.
yeah. But I'm sorry because we know that the job market is.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
I had a
Okay,
public crash out online talking about my financial situation. Maybe I could talk about that a little bit later in my overshare. Okay,
yes.
anyway, moving along.
Okay, so for the last one, we have something a little different. We wanted to just show you guys what it's like over on Patreon. So, if you don't know, we do Reddit stories on Patreon because we didn't really want to put advice behind a paywall or anything like
Mhm.
that. So, we saved that for the show. But we decided that we were going to do Reddit stories on Patreon. And some of them are just so absurd and they're so much fun. So, we thought for our last segment, I am going to read Kenzie Reddit story, and I'm very excited to see what
Yeah.
she has to say. The title is Am I the asshole for not stopping my teenage son's girlfriend from kissing him? My son, 17, recently got into a car accident with a drunk driver. I'm very thankful that he is alive, obviously, but his car is totaled. The drunk driver was driving a pickup, and my son drives a small old convertible, which is most likely the reason for the amount of damage. He is fairly injured, multiple breaks, lots of stitches, etc., and he is currently recovering. This all occurred last week on Saturday, the night of the accident. My family, my wife, and my daughter, who is 14, got there, I want to say, an hour before his girlfriend. When she came in, she ran up to him in the hospital bed and started hugging and kissing him, mainly on his lips, but other places on his face too. She stayed for most of the night, checking up on him and being supportive, and I was happy that my son and his girlfriend had such a good relationship. As we were driving home that night, my wife said that she was upset that I didn't say anything to my son's girlfriend. I asked why would I have, as she was being a good partner. My wife said that it felt weird seeing that, especially in front of his family. I said that he was going to be off to college regardless and that she was just being a nice partner, and that night it showed how much she truly cared for him. My wife started getting angrier and said that she thought it was gross and that I should have just asked her to leave at some point. I told her that I'm not going to tell my hospitalized son that I'm taking away something that clearly makes him happy. She told me that it was gross and that I needed to put a stop to it. I told her that she was worrying about the wrong thing and that anything that brought our son comfort was good. She told me that I need to step up and do my job, and I've been thinking about it, and I'm wondering if I am in the wrong.
Oh my god. Okay, listen. Listen, Linda. Your son could have died. This is what I'm thinking. Her son could have died, and the girlfriend could have lost her boyfriend. He's in the hospital bed alive. Let's all just celebrate and be happy. Like, why are we this is, like, honestly giving, like, weird relationship not like you know how moms can be super possessive over their sons
Yes,
and have, like, weird possession over their sons? This is it just gives that. I don't know if it was her daughter, would she be the same way if she had, like, a boyfriend who loved her? I don't think so. I don't know, but I just feel like it's, like, that weird she feels uncomfortable because that's her baby boy, and she feels disrespected by the girlfriend for doing that, when in reality, the girlfriend is like, "Oh my god, my boyfriend just almost died in a car accident, like, I could have never kissed him ever again, let me, like, show him that I love him," and if it were me, I would be probably crying. I'd be like, "I'm just so grateful that this is that he's okay and that they're able to be here." So she just sounds like a bitter mom who doesn't wanna lose her son and wants to still be the okay, Madison Humphrey on
absolutely.
she's always doing TikToks like this of, like, the mom who, like, the girlfriend comes over or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, it's you," right? And then she's like, loves her son. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. What do you think? What would you do?
Oh, it's so weird how you were like, Linda, he could have died. The
Yeah.
way it made me think of Kim, there are people who are dying. Okay. Like,
Yes.
please.
Come
No,
on.
seriously. I'm thinking you should just be so happy that he is alive. That is so
Yeah.
scary to get hit by a drunk driver. I don't know if I told you I actually got hit by a drunk driver once. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it was when I was living in Atlanta. And it's when I was working for that celebrity couple as the
Yeah.
nanny. So I was driving home, I kid you not, it's 6 PM. It's still light outside, and all of a sudden, while I'm on this residential road, somebody slams into me, rear-ended me, and then ran off. And I ended up, I believe, getting a concussion because I almost vomited after they hit me. I hit my head so hard on the back of my headrest,
Oh my
and
gosh.
somebody saw the accident. They came to me and said, "I'm gonna go follow him." They chased him, in their car. They ended up getting the license plate, and he went to jail because he hit somebody else too. He had hit like 3 other cars. He was drunk at 6 PM and was hitting a bunch of cars, and I
Oh
was just
my
one of
gosh.
them. So I do know that that person got arrested, they went to jail. Luckily, there was no damage on our car at the time. Gosh, I mean, thankfully, I was okay, but it was extremely scary, so I cannot imagine getting hit by a drunk driver
No.
when you are just so thankful that you are alive, but not only what I experienced, but you did break bones. You did break
Yeah.
bones, car's totaled, you're in the
You're in the
hospital,
hospital.
and you're that upset about your son, like, getting kissed by his girlfriend. I think it's so funny, and I think they said that he was 17.
He's 17 years old. He's, like, about to go to college.
Come on. And I do think that there can be a bit of a not a respect thing, but like a read the room thing. Maybe if the
Yeah.
girlfriend was like laying on top of him and being all creepy, like if she's trying to, get things going on the hospital bed or something. But to kiss him, and he said also other places on his face. To me, that's just
I know, she
wholesome.
was
She's
like
probably like kissing his cheeks and his
I
forehead. And
know.
I mean, it
She's
sounds like
thinking like, "You're alive, you're alive."
I
I know.
know. And I love that the dad saw it as wholesome because to him, he's
Mhm.
just like, I'm so happy that somebody loves my son as much as I love my son. But yeah, there are some very interesting moms out there. I'm thankful my mom isn't like that. Brian's mom isn't
No,
like
yeah.
that. Thank God. But there are some who get territorial over their sons. So it does make me
It's
feel like
weird.
maybe it has to do with that. Despite the fact that I was raised in purity culture, most of my purity culture came from youth group, not
Mm,
so much my parents.
yeah.
And I remember when I was 15, I had my first boyfriend, and I walked him. I think it was his birthday, and we had gone to a big pizza place. You know, the one Big Lou's where you bring 15 people?
Yes.
Yeah, it's this
Yes.
giant pizza that covers the entire table, and it's like bring as many people as possible to attempt to finish it, and I've still
Yes.
never finished it. So we went there, and then we dropped him off at his house, and I walked him to the door, and I think I was 15. I got back in the car, and my parents were like, "So, did you kiss?" You know?
Oh.
So, I mean, they weren't weird like that, you know? They're like, "Well,
Yeah.
you're 15, this is your boyfriend," like, and they would, like, tease me about it, you know? Um,
Aw.
so that's just weird. I'm sorry. No, you're not in the wrong. That's wild.
And also, can we talk about the fact that she's, like, not willing to do something herself, but is, like, upset that the dad didn't do anything?
Yeah.
Like,
She's
why
like, "This
didn't you
is
take
your
control of the
job."
situation? Yeah, but really, it's like, lady. I mean, I honestly grateful that she didn't because that would have been so sad for that and awkward for them. And it does sound like it was so wholesome. I'm gonna be the same way with my kids. I'm like gonna be very much like, this is your person. Like, don't make out in front of us. But other than that, like, it's
Like, I
sweet.
don't wanna see anything that makes me, like,
Yeah.
super uncomfortable, but
Yeah. Oh
oh
my
my
God.
god. So
Yeah.
crazy. Well, that was one of the ones that we had set aside for last month's bonus stories on Patreon, and then we ended up doing a different one, so yeah, we just wanted to give you guys a taste of what Patreon might be like. We do 3 a month, and it's super fun over there, so if you
Yeah.
guys see any Reddit stories that you think are fun, that you want us to react to, please send them over, and we will
Yes.
definitely share our thoughts on them.
Yeah, so, like, Patreon is still interactive in that way, so you send us whatever you want. If y'all don't send us anything, we'll pick our own, but, like, we're totally would love to do the ones that you guys are interested in.
All right, are you ready to jump into our overshare moment?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you wanna go first or
Sure.
okay.
Okay. Get ready. I'm gonna trauma dump. Don't
Okay,
judge
I'm
me.
ready. I'm here for
Yeah,
it.
we're doing the whole thing. Kenzie already knows about some of this. You know, we haven't talked in person about it, but so, as you guys know, I've talked before about the maid of honor crystal
Mm,
situation and the con on the wedding day and just the insanity of that situation. So, I thought that I was going to grow old with these people, and it has just been very hard. And Kenzie, you know how much I have not shared online.
yeah.
Yeah. I think people already think that it's insane how much horribleness went on. If you've never seen it, I have a playlist on my TikTok. It's my Maid of Honor playlist. You can go see it. A lot happened, and I haven't even shared the half of it. There's
Yeah.
so much more. So basically, on Halloween night, my husband ended up getting a text message from somebody connected to Crystal and a family member. And they ended up sending this text, which actually I will read for everybody's
Yay.
enjoyment.
Okay, but I have
It's
a question.
wild.
I have a
Yes.
question. Did Bran show this to you on Halloween?
No, he waited
So
till the
he
next day.
yeah.
And also, I made a post about this, and people were wondering, did he want to show, like, did I want to read it? And I would have been upset had he not told me that he got it. So I'm glad he
Yeah.
told me, and he was like, you don't need to read it. And I was like, I want to read it. So
Yeah.
I made the decision that I wanted to read this. But okay, he texted Brandon and he's blocked on my phone, so I did not receive this. Before I read it, also know that I've gone no contact with this man. I've not spoken to him
Mhm.
in a year and a half
Yeah.
almost. It has been a very long time. So he sent this text message that said, I sent this to Jubilee today. Dear Jubilee, there is so much I wish we could discuss. However, I do not see an open door between us. I would like you to know that I pray for you often and I want you to hear my prayers. To that end, here is the prayer. Heavenly Father, please bless Jubilee, give her the fullness of your light and joy, fill her life and heart with peace and the joy of your presence. Be close to her, holding her dear to your heart. Remember that she is your beautiful daughter, who you have made and continue to make into a child of your kingdom who loves you and her neighbor. Okay, so far, It's fine. Let your name and presence be holy to her. Keep her in awe and fear of your wondrous presence. Help her live in a way that honors your name and blessings you offer her every day. Desires with good eternal fruit. Forgive her for her mistakes. We all stand in need of grace and help her know the love and freedom that comes with knowing your forgiveness and grace. Help her to forgive those who have hurt her in any way. She has often felt betrayed, and she has been betrayed. Lord, you know exactly what that feels like and how deeply the kiss of Judas causes pain and real anguish. In your final moments on earth, you forgave those who hurt you. Give her a fresh view of this love and enable her to forgive those who have hurt her in any way. She may count me in this number, and I pray that she will let any pain she has towards me go. I want her life to be rich and blessed, and I hope that she wants the same towards me. God, save her from the lies and snares of the enemy. He hates her and would rob, kill, and destroy every blessing that you would shower her with. Deliver her from his deceitful ways. Enable her to see clearly and to follow your Holy Spirit. You are able to do more in and through her than I could ever hope or imagine. Show your glory in her life. You are the beginning and the end. She came from you and will return to you. In that day, enable her to stand in the glory, love, and life of the wonderful name of Jesus. In his almighty name, I pray. Amen. And then at the end, this is the icing on the cake. I am forwarding this note to your parents and my immediate family that they may know my prayer and hope for you.
God, this made me so mad.
Yeah. And this man, I think what really hurt me about this the most is that, well, there's so many things about it. I mean, he's essentially saying that I'm deceitful or I'm deceived because he's asking that Satan's deceit over my life be broken. And he is in a prayer kind of calling me out for unforgiveness. And
Yeah.
the problem is, guys, if you knew the whole story, so much bad has happened from this man, and he has caused so much hurt and pain and so many things that are not okay and not godly, and he has not once apologized for
Yep.
it. Not once apologized, taken any sort of accountability. So for him to send this prayer that says, God help her release her anger that she
Yeah.
has towards me without doing anything to make it right, take accountability. It's just insane. And I think what hurt me the most, I mean, I cried so much yesterday. I was crying the majority of the day because I just felt so angry that he would send that to my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Did your
can't,
parents reach out to you at all about it?
no. And I can't get into that stuff too much because those are things I choose to not really share on social media that much. But yeah, it's painful to know that he sent that to my parents because something about these religious systems and also just toxic family dynamics is that it makes you feel so young.
Yeah.
And I hate that I'm
So true.
31 years old and something is being sent to my parents on a situation that is going on. And I'm a grown person who can make my own decisions. And it feels kind of like he's tattling on me to my
Yeah.
parents. And luckily, my parents, he's done this before with my parents. And luckily, they haven't fed into it and they've pretty much ignored it. And at times, my parents have even said, Jubilee's an adult. Like, I don't know what you want us to do.
Yeah.
But it's hard, to know that he's involving them in that. And then also, he said he was sending it to everybody in his immediate family, which includes Crystal.
Yep.
So the idea that that prayer about how I'm so lost and deceived by Satan is being sent to Crystal, who
Yep.
groomed me, who inappropriately touched me, who has gaslit me and betrayed me. And so, like, there are things in our friendship that I was lied to about for years that pinned me against other people in my life. And the fact that this was sent to Crystal, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sure she loved that." I'm
Yep.
sure, I mean, it, like, feeds the narcissistic delusion of,
Absolutely.
that she is just so messed up, and it I think all it has done, obviously, is solidify the fact that I know I made the right decision when I cut ties with that group because it's so unhealthy and so toxic and so
Mhm.
gaslighty, and it's just it feels incapable of being healthy. And I did decide to share parts of it on social media because, there's a lot of things that I shy away from that I don't share online, but I constantly, every time I do a Q&A, people want me to talk about my parents. They want me to talk about family. How did your church react when you left? What has the pushback been like? And I don't really answer any of those questions because I'm just not there. I'm not there at this point in my life, and some things for me are just personal, but I feel like that is probably the biggest thing that we all go through during deconstruction, and it's the hardest to talk about is the pushback from people in your life. And you've talked about it before, Ken's, going from feeling like you are the golden child, or people just look at you with so much awe and like they adore you when you're in ministry, and
Mhm.
then when you deconstruct, it's kind of like you're this dirty rock. You're
Yep.
just like this, you're discarded, you're damaged, and you realize that this unconditional love that you thought that you had, specifically me with this group of people, I don't have that anymore, and
Yeah.
it is fairly conditional. So yeah, it's been a hard 48 hours because I feel like I just want to be left alone,
Yeah.
and I feel harassed at this point because this is the second time this year that he has reached out to my parents or other people and tried to like get to me. And I don't understand why he just can't leave well enough alone and just like leave me be. And he's
Yep.
a pastor. I forgot to say that. Well, okay, he says he's a pastor, but he hasn't had a church in 30 years. It's just something that he likes to say.
Yeah. About himself.
Mhm.
This really angered me so deeply yesterday when I read this letter, and I also have my own traumatic experiences with this person. So I just see him. I feel like the veil was just lifted for me, and so
Do you want to
these
share one of
letters.
the things that he said? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually taken into his office for 2 hours and berated when he wanted to confront me about the fact that I was queer. Mind you, this is not someone who is related to me by blood. Like, I have no relation to this person by blood, right? And so he took me into his office and he berated me, and he told me that I was either heavily demon influenced or possessed, and or very mentally ill, and that is why I was gay.
Those were the only 2 options.
Those were the only 2 options, yeah. And so that was so traumatic for me because part of my religious trauma is being taken into a room by men and berated and prayed for the demons to be released from me. And so it was just this very reminiscent experience where I was like, "Oh, this feels so much like that." And I was in complete freeze response. Like, I couldn't get myself to like stand up and leave. And that completely changed the dynamic of the way that I was able to, like, relate to him, but then a lot of things happened, and then they just added to the list, right, like, after that. But yeah, I mean, so I read that letter yesterday, and I was just thinking, this letter is only happening because he's been sitting and stewing over the last year and a half, and that's it. It's not I truly do not believe that he wrote this letter out of deep love for you. And I don't like saying that, but that's how I feel, and I could be wrong, but I don't feel like people like him truly sit with their deep, deep love. I think they sit with their pride and their ego, and they write these letters out of a place of bitterness and anger and feeling like they need to have justice needs to be done, but they think about justice through the lens of like prayer, and that they're going to write this amazing thing, and then writes this letter. He probably read it 5 million times to himself and felt really good about how poetic it sounded, and then sent it to you feeling holier than thou. And that he gets off on being on his high horse and being able to look down on all the lowly people. And that's how I feel about it. And maybe that's my own bitterness talking,
I
but I
don't
think it's my
think so.
experience.
Yeah, what I think it is that it's a mix of both. So when you were saying you think he wrote it out of anger, I think he has been stewing and he has been very mad. And I know for a fact that he has been. And I think that so often in Christian circles, and especially at Bethel, they would say to prophesy the opposite. So if somebody was really lost, you would prophesy, oh, they're gonna like do this crazy thing. So I almost feel like maybe he knows he's really mad, really doesn't like me. I have really upset him. And he sat down and was like, you know what? I'm going to be so holy and I'm going to write a prayer and I'm going to like
Mhm.
speak the opposite and like pray for my
Yeah.
enemies, maybe. But then his anger and manipulation comes through in it because deep
Yep.
down, he's mad. Like deep down, he's like, you are so lost. So it's kind of like this holier than thou letter that there's anger and resentment woven through all of it. And I know he's really big into poetry and writing songs and stuff like that. So I know that he was probably like, "This is the most beautiful. This is so beautiful, and how
So
could
deep.
someone be offended by this beautiful prayer?" You know? And I think what made me so mad is just the hypocrisy of sending it to everybody as well. It's
Mhm.
so when I posted about it, people were saying this is the epitome of what narcissistic people do, where they try to get their flying monkeys to do their bidding. So
Mhm.
by sending it to everybody, he's trying to make sure that everybody knows, his immediate family, my parents, everybody knows that I'm super lost and I'm the one in the wrong. And he gets to send that off and he comes across or he thinks he comes across being so holy.
Yeah.
How gracious of you to be thinking about Jubilee and to be hoping the best for her. And it's just so fake and I can't handle it, you know.
Yeah, you know what else too? I think he sends it to everyone so that he can also have some responses back to it that are positive. Because there are quite a few people in that text chain, right? That are going to be like, wow, this was so beautiful. We couldn't have said it better
Amen.
ourselves. Yeah, we're praying with you. Like that feeds his ego. So he's like, oh man, I did this great thing when he probably knew I'm going to send it to Jubilee and not receive a response, or who knows how her parents are going to respond to it, or her husband is going to respond to it. But these people, they're going to say that I'm the most brilliant prayer who ever prayed.
Yeah.
And so that's like gross to me.
'Cause I
It's
feel
really
like
gross.
isn't prayer supposed to be
Uh-huh.
between you and God? I feel
Ah.
like isn't there Bible verses about that? I don't know. Anyway,
Well, something about going into a room by yourself. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, and I'm really sorry, GB. How are you
thank
feeling
you.
today?
A lot better because I wanted to take time to
Mm,
just take care of myself. So like I said, I went to a coffee shop this morning and I just started writing my book or continued working on my book and was just focusing on myself and my dreams and my community, reading everybody's comments. I'm gonna cry. Meant so much to
mhm.
me just because it can feel so isolating when you receive stuff like that and you feel like in the eyes of the people around you, you've fallen so much.
Yeah.
And to hear from other people that they have also been through this and saying that they support me and that they're proud of me and just reaffirming you're not crazy. You're right. That is very manipulative. Like, that is extremely manipulative, especially when there's been no apology or accountability. It's not coming from a good
Yeah.
place. It definitely roots me back in my decision and my knowing that I've already
Mm.
had in myself. But yeah, I've been doing better today. It just took away my Saturday, I will say. But
I'm really sorry.
thanks. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Um, yeah, I'm gonna overshare a little bit about something that I posted online this week. I had a day this week where I would say that I hold myself together through things that are really hard for me, you know? And I'm not saying they're hard, they would be hard for everybody. I'm just saying for me personally, I have the mindset like so many of us do where you're like, well, I need to cry right now, but I have to go to work. I need to cry right now, but I have to make dinner for my kids. You know what I mean? It's like your body needs to do something or you need to grieve. And every once in a while, I will have a day where I just can't and I have to release and like let it all out. And that has not happened in a really long time. But this week I had that and I was just like, releasing, like crying all day. And I feel like it was really hard and I was feeling very dark. Like I was in full transparency. It was like hopelessness, like utter a hopelessness, just like deep in the void of life. Like nothing's good is ever going to happen ever again. And it's like there's a part of you that's outside of that that sees it and knows it's not true, but also it's too big that it's swallowing you whole and you're like, I have to just let this take me and like ride the wave and then we'll be different tomorrow. And so I decided like if I'm going to show up authentically online, which has been like my thing, right? I'm going to show up authentically. I'm trying to show up authentically and like do things and talk about things that I think like because okay, I have been notoriously afraid of saying certain things online because I'm afraid of what my family will say. I'm afraid of the calls that I'm going to get. I'm afraid of it's not that I'm afraid of what strangers are going to say,
Mhm.
but it's that I'm afraid of what the people who know me are going to say and think about me. And so I've been trying to like kind of just get away from that because I think it's going to rob me of success, to be completely honest. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be one of those people who like crashes out on the internet. And so I just filmed a video and very authentically and raw just said what I was feeling and talked about my finances and talked about my anger and talked about my anger about how Snap is being shut down and talked about how I feel like this is an injustice and also said, and I understand that we can't just sit around and cry all of the time, but I have to like let myself be human before I can move on and like do the work that needs to be done in my life to like keep going. And I have never been so tempted to take down a video in my entire
Really?
life. I'm really struggling to leave it up there because the comment section of that video is so hateful. Like it is hundreds of comments about how I am just what's wrong with the world and that I'm just, entitled and, don't know how to live within my means and that these are the consequences of my own actions and I should do better and work harder and, very demeaning, very much like you're stupid and like they that I'm doing something wrong with my life if I'm that sad or struggling with money. And of course, I haven't even told, anyone really the details of why we are struggling or like what big financial event has happened completely outside of our control, and the adjustment that's been. I mean, my fiance got this amazing job he loves, and I love for him. And we were living within our means because that job was paying a certain amount of money. And we were finally out of a hole that we had been in forever. And we were so grateful that we were living with a stable income, right? And then all of a sudden, my fiance goes to work one day and his boss comes up to him and says, "Hey, so sorry to tell you this, but we've actually been overpaying you on bonuses and you owe us $18,000. And so not only is he not making the bonus amount that he thought that he was making and that we had been making, right? Like we thought that this was the bonus what he was bonusing on each job. He's a contractor. Not only is that amount taken out of each check, so we're already getting less money, but he has to pay back the $18,000. So it's life-changing news. I mean, it's like life-altering, life-changing news. And there's no way that we could have foreseen that. And so, yes, there are so many. Are we perfect budgeters? Have we always lived well within our means? No, absolutely not. We can take accountability for so many things over the last 15 years, right, of my life. But we have worked really hard to get where we are. And we've been through a lot to try to get where we are with our jobs. And then this huge thing happened. And I just was in a moment of just utter frustration that I posted that. And so many people are responding so angrily. And I guess it's just crazy to me how these responses roll in and they're like, well, instead of whining, go work an extra 40 hours a week. For 40 hours a week, I remember my first part-time job. And I'm like, guys, I'm not saying that I'm not willing to work hard. What I'm saying is that we should not have to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week just to be able to live and buy food and pay our rent. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think it's fair for Americans to have to work 80 plus hours a week to live. That's not the American dream, right? Like we should be able to work full-time hours and have a livable income. That's just my how I feel. And so that's part of my frustration is that Americans are like, well, just work harder, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do it. We did it, right? Climbed up the hill both ways barefoot in the snow to get to school. Like that's how it feels. And I'm like, I get that your life is hard. I get that you work really hard. What I am saying is that my fiance and I work 45 to 50 hours every single week and we can't make it
Yeah.
financially. We have to get other jobs. We're going to do it. We're going to figure out ways to make more money. We're going to put the work in, but I'm fucking pissed that we have to work more than over full-time hours. And I feel like that's fair. So I just feel like I had this moment and it was just a raging moment. And I was like, I'm just going to post it because that's I don't know, every once in a while you just want to post a video that feels like the real you, right? And like, this is the real me today. Like, let's just do it. And I feel like I'm really regretting it. And also, it has deeply affected me because I'm like, am I the only person who feels this way that like Americans shouldn't have to work 80 hours a week to live?
I think you got on the wrong side of TikTok. I've had that happen a few times where gosh, I posted one. This one was the worst. It wasn't on TikTok, it was on Instagram, and it actually discouraged me from posting on Instagram for a while. I was at a concert, and I think it was to the song Anxiety. There was a trend going on at the time, and people
Mhm.
were saying things that they were anxious about. And I posted just this little video that Brand had taken of me at a concert, and I was like, scared of or what did I say? I said I was looking for exit points just in case there was a shooting because America, right? Okay. So,
Yeah.
which by the way, I did have that happen at the Texas State Fair. So, not crazy. And I wasn't trying to make like a crazy statement, but I posted that and I got the most racist, horrific comments on Instagram. People making fun of my looks, my nose, people I don't know, making fun of what race they thought I was. It was so disgusting to the point where I could not believe that there were this many thousands of people who were so racist and so horrible all over like a silly trend of being anxious about going to a
Yep.
concert. So sometimes that just happens. Sometimes you get on the wrong side, but no, you're not crazy. I mean, what's so funny is that I feel like on the side of TikTok I'm on right now, that's what a lot of people are saying and they're not getting hate
Yeah.
in their comments, but it's so hard when it feels like there's just a pile on, and you start to
Mhm.
feel like wait, does everyone feel this way? Does everybody think I'm crazy? And do they really
Yeah.
think I'm this stupid? And you're not. You're not.
Yeah.
Like and they don't know your circumstance. I think this is, like, the first time you've shared what happened
Yeah.
with the work
Yeah.
situation, and it's freaking horrific. It's scary,
Mhm.
to the point where I wasn't sure if that was legal. I went on ChatGPT when you told me about it, and I was like, can that even happen?"
How is that possible?
And
Yeah.
apparently it is, it surprised me, but it's hard,
Uh-huh.
and I think that we're doing our best, and at the end of the day, you can go to bed knowing I work really hard. I'm not
Yeah.
someone afraid who's afraid of working. I don't sit
Mhm.
around all day and, everybody deserves food and,
Yeah.
um that should not be controversial to say that people
I
deserve
know.
food. So,
Yeah. And a roof over their heads. Yeah.
yes. And when you're working so hard, of course you feel like, what else could I be doing? I,
Yeah.
I work really, really hard. So I'm sorry, Kens. That's
It's okay. I feel better emotionally. I mean, like, again, it's like, it's not that I'm relieved of the stress necessarily, but my tolerance to it is typically high. Like, I'm able to be like, wow, this is so frustrating. I'm infuriated and then move on. I don't typically just like completely fall apart for an entire day, but that day, sometimes, but then I do. Like, I need it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, I'm not feeling that right now. However, the stress is significant, and so there will come a day once every few months where I'm just like, I have to just cry because I'm a human and we're not machines. We're not machines.
Mhm.
And it would be nice to work over full-time jobs and be able to own a home. Like, it would be nice to not have to literally like count every coupon at the grocery store, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think, yeah, I think that, but I'm okay. I'm mad, but I'm not as losing it. You texted me and I couldn't even text you back. I was like, "Oh, I'll see you tomorrow."
It's okay.
She texted me and
Real.
she's like, "Saw your post. Are you okay? How are you feeling?" And I was
Checking
like,
in.
"You're like,
Lotta
whoa." And I'm just on the internet like, "My life is falling apart."
That's
It's fine.
okay. It's okay, queen. That was me yesterday. I was like, "There's no point. I'm never gonna escape these people."
I know.
Gosh, but
I know.
But we do, but we live. So I did want to share this. Somebody wrote in and they said, not advice, but you guys, especially Mackenzie, inspired me to sign up for an adult class in something that I've always loved, but haven't gotten to pour into for most of my life. I went for the first time this week, and it was so fun to do something that lit up both my adult self and inner child. So
Yes!
it
Yes, yes,
made
yes,
us
yes, yes,
so
yes, yes, yes,
happy.
yes. I'm so, so happy. Do not give up on your dreams. It is the only thing that is getting us through this life. I swear. Like, I swear. That's why I was thinking about like this whole crashing out thing and me just being like, what is life? There's no hope. I get to do a play reading. That's the hope of my life right
Yes,
now, you know? I
the
get to
hope
go to
is
my
the
acting
joys.
class. Yeah, whatever it is, right? Like pottery, like dance, whatever it is, find something that you can look forward to and freaking do it because life is hard. I'm so glad that I could have any part in the encouragement of that because same, I'm doing things for my inner child too, and it's actually what saves the day to day for sure. So I'm so glad. My Luca, he's painting something in our wall right now. He's a visual artist, and so he's doing this painting in our living room, and he's getting back into doing that too, like something for himself that he used to love, and it's just so important. So yay! Thank you for telling us. And like, what is it? Like, can we know like what it is? I want to know what
Yes,
your
let us
passion
know.
is. Like, message and be like, I don't know, dog walking. Like, I don't know, a dog class, dog training class, whatever it is. I want to know.
Yes.
We know someone else who's doing I guess people are getting into this because we know someone else, you know them, I know them, one of your siblings that's doing pottery, taking a pottery class. Did you know
Yes.
that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So,
I love it.
yeah, so exciting. Yay, yay, yay. Love you. Thank you so much for telling us. I guess this is it for this episode of the Overshare Hour. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to submit your questions throughout the week. We love you so much. And Patreon, if you enjoyed what you heard earlier with the Reddit stories, there are so many more of those on our Patreon. $3 a month, $5, and it's still interactive. You can send us whatever you want, and we would love to read them. We love you guys so much, and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.